Hello, everyone. You're listening to SheLeads with Carly. I'm your host, Carly Malatsky, and my guest today is Roni Burrell. Roni is currently the Vice President of Product at Selina, which is one of the world's fastest growing hospitality brands that combines beautifully designed accommodation with co-working spaces, wellness, and recreational offerings for today's nomad traveler. Prior to Selina, though, Roni started her career in design and user experience. She then transitioned into product and worked primarily at AOL as their head of product for their B2C video. Throughout her career, Roni has experienced working in numerous different cultures, from American, English, Israeli, Finnish, and Latin American. I'm very excited to dive into this and so much more. Roni, welcome. Thank you for coming on the show. How are you today?
I'm good, Carly. Thank you so much for inviting me today.
Of course. So first, set the scene. Where are you in the world? What's the work situation like? Are you guys back in the office entirely? What does it look like at Selina?
So post-COVID, we continued with the hybrid work. So I'm splitting my week between a few days at home and a few days in the office. Mondays I always go to the office because that's like a very hectic day, and I also meet the team that's based in Israel in the office. But the other days I kind of decide depending on my schedule. If I have a day where I need to concentrate, or all my meetings is going to be Zoom meetings, I'm probably going to take this day from home. And if I have face-to-face meetings, I still prefer the old traditional face-to-face office because there's a certain quality that you get in the office that you don't get from home, and there's a certain quality you get by the quietness at home that you don't get from the office.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
today I spent my day home. Tomorrow I'm going into the office. Yesterday I was in the office. Yeah, so it's a good combination.
Okay. Yeah, incredible. So before we even get into Selina, which I'm very excited about, I think it's an incredible company, and a lot of my friends have stayed in Selina. So I'm excited to get into that. But let's go all the way to the beginning. You went into design and user experience. First, how did you discover it? What attracted you to it?
So I actually started in the very, very early days of the internet. I started as a UI designer, and at this time it was designers did everything. So I coded, I wrote HTML, I did some action scripts, I did some copy, I did the UI design, I did some of the content, some of the branding. So it was like a one person show, like a full stack designer. This, what a designer used to be, is now a group or a full studio. And the internet kind of evolved very, very fast. So it started just by providing information, the very, very basic things. It was just text. Then some movement started, so you could animate things. And by the time we started doing things with the internet, sending stuff, reading stuff, and shopping, I felt there was a gap that I needed to explore more between what I knew about users. We didn't think about users at the time. So this kind of new persona, which is a user, try to understand it, to understand the motivation and how to better create experiences that solve problems. What is problem solving? All those big questions. I needed more in-depth exploration. So I moved to the UK and started my MA in experience design. It was mainly the actual studies were a lot about how humans perceive information in the real world and how does it translate to the digital world. How do we navigate information? What cues do we use? How do we go back and forth? This whole concept of moving between different realms was very, very new and very, very exciting at the time. So there was early days, and still lots of research was done at universities around interactions and users. And I was very, very privileged to learn this at the time. And I think that was one of my best decisions ever.
Yeah. So from studying, experience and now incorporating with the user, at what point, when did you discover product management? Was this a phrase that you kept hearing, or how did you even, dive into that?
I think once I moved from being a designer to being a user experience designer, there was already started to be like a gap between how things looked and how they behaved. So I moved from the visual side to the more structural side and how things should, what the actions are, what's the motivation, what's the end goal. From that, I think, along with the industry that started to developing, and there were more and more thinking about business and how do we kind of build this solution and what is a problem and what is an opportunity. It was a very, very natural evolvement for me to kind of moving from the experience and design side into the product side. I think I kind of moved in the same pace with the industry, so it felt very, very natural. Of course, being a designer for me is something that is, I think I'm wearing the designer glasses even when I'm not wearing my glasses everywhere. I think of a design as a problem-solving methodology. It's kind of, for me, it's always about deconstructing and reconstructing, looking at what we have and how can we rebuild it, what can we leave out, what should we add to build something which is completely new. So I think that kind of methodology and way of thinking and way of looking at problems and problem solving has always been part of the way I worked and the way I thought. And still is as a product leader, it still is today. So for me, it's a very, very natural movement from one to the other.
So it seems like a big, turning point, if you will, is when you incorporated this user experience part of design. Because like you said, oftentimes you have designers who can build this beautifully designed product, but then it behaves differently. So when you almost had this user experience, this voice in your head, then you were able to see like, oh, okay, this is how it comes together. How do you see that there's a difference maybe in people in product who don't necessarily have that UX design background or like you said, glasses on? Is there a difference?
I think there is. I think also in my team, I see different from people from different backgrounds. And I think first it depends on what product are you working on, because there are products in which if you have a development background, that would be the perfect combination for you, because you really do understand the depth or the technology which is crucial for you to build the right product, is having that deep understanding. Right. I think sometimes there are people coming from a psychological background, sometimes people are coming from a project perspective. Each one brings a different blend to the table. It's very difficult for me to say what I would have been if I would have studied computer science and then went into product, because that's not my path. But I do believe that being a product manager, it always requires to have very, very broad perspective on things. So I think for me, product is all about the zoom in and zoom out, really quickly understanding how can you look at the details, but also the big picture, zooming in, zooming out, almost on a daily basis. Very, very important. I don't know about different backgrounds, but I do. I have in my team various backgrounds, and all super interesting.
Before we even get into, going to AOL, being head of product, all of that, I'm actually curious, now that you mention it, your team at Selina, many different backgrounds. Do you think that's, from my perspective, this diversity, it adds value, right? Everyone's coming from a different lens, the development side, the design side. Something that I've always, and I talk about on this podcast, is about breaking into product from, different sectors, coming from design as an engineer. How do you consider those aspects when you're, finding new PMs to join your team? When they're coming from, maybe not a product management experience per se, but they have this like product mindset that could be useful?
So again, in my team, I have people with very senior, and I have some new starters, which is always exciting. So someone who's coming and that's their first product position. I think product is something you work in teams. Right. You work not only in product teams, you work in R&D teams, you work with business people, you work with project people, you work for Selina, we also work with operational people, you work with strategy, you work almost with everyone. So you have to have this capacity of listening. Listening is a crucial part of product management, and also good communication skills, and the ability to share, to know where to let go of ideas, to accept other people's thoughts, to develop other people's concepts as if they were yours. As much as you leave your ego outside the room, the better product manager I think you're going to be. In terms of breaking into product, I think you need the passion.
Okay.
You need the patience, because there's a lot to learn. There are methodologies, there are their structures and their processes that really really help navigate and make successful product. But also you need to find the good few people that will really mentor you, and will take the extra time to review what it is that you're doing, that you can get into the room with some confidence that you already shared your thoughts, and people will. And I think it's mainly the passion that is required, and the persistence. There's also a good level of
Yeah.
persistence that you need
No,
with
I
product.
love it. I love it. I think first of all, such a jam-packed, like incredible. And I think what you said even in the beginning, listening, I haven't even heard that as such a key part, but it makes sense because you're coming, from so many different perspectives that are coming to you. So I love that. So tell me, when you started in product, now kind of leaving the design behind in a way, going to AOL, a big, well-renowned company, did you have, mentorship, like you said? Were you able to really grow and learn as a PM, or was it more learning on your own?
There's a lot of learning on my own, but kind of when I look back at my career and I mark all the major key points, I think in every present position that I held, something prepared me for the next one. So
Okay.
when I was in Nokia, I was very privileged to work on handheld designer devices back in the days when it just started, and screens just started to move. They weren't even touch screens, so it was really difficult to build good experiences with buttons and screens.
Yeah.
And that kind of prepared me to my next position, which was a startup in San Francisco that did a video multi-device video platform, and also had mobile applications. So that kind of prepared me to that. But because they did video kind of prepared me to AOL, and AOL kind of prepared me for working on the venture side of AOL and then Verizon.
Yeah.
And I think everything together and then some prepared me to my current position as VP product of Selina, because Selina is kind of everything that I did so far combined, and plenty more. So it's for me, it's B2C, it's B2B, it's
Yeah.
also physical product, which brings me life and brings me back to my early days as a designer, which was kind of I studied real design, not just graphic design. So I was like a
Wow.
industrial design. So that's kind of everything together comes to life in Selena.
Yeah. And tell me, when you were going through, Nokia, Verizon, AOL, all these different companies, what were you optimizing for? Did it depend on, the stage in your life and you were optimizing for learning, or were you so passionate about the company, or was it, now I'm head of product and this is a great leadership opportunity for me? How are you thinking of these new opportunities?
It's a very good question. I think again back to my point about zoom in, zoom out. So I
Yeah.
always have I need to relate to what the company does as a mission,
Okay. Yeah.
and what they're trying to achieve in the world. I have to relate to that. It has to appeal to me. I have to feel that there's something that I can contribute to that calling or to that mission and the vision of the company. On the very very lower level, it has to be a great team. There has to be smart people. There has to be funny people, people that I'm going to spend the most of my waking hours with. So it's better be fun and good and challenging.
Yeah.
It's always good to have some figures that you can learn from, and there are always people to learn from. It doesn't necessarily has to be your manager. It's good that you can learn from others, but it can be anyone that you work with that kind of challenging you in a positive way to achieve more, and to challenge yourself. Uh, and I think creativity is crucial for me. So
Yeah.
I'm a creative person. I like to create things. I like this moment where things kind of click, and there's like this kind of joy of something new and this excitement that we're going to deliver something that everybody's super super exciting about, and it feels like the right thing because we cracked something. We still have to build it. We still have to test it. It
Right.
still has to be proven. But that kind of sparkle and joy and creative environment is super crucial for me.
So,
I also, sorry,
no,
I
it's okay,
also,
of course.
again, back to my first point about vision and mission. I really do believe in companies that are trying to do good things in this universe of ours. I'm not talking about evil companies, not even that, but just companies that kind of do more of the same or take more of our time. I am all for companies that kind of try to bring the balance
Yeah.
into our lives and to be positive and
Yeah.
gentle to our users. Mhm.
Yeah, I love it. So, I haven't heard this before, so I'm going to tap into this specifically. Is you mentioned creativity. And oftentimes, people find it easier to be creative and they could, they know their outlets that they need to use to be creative. How do you foster creativity amongst your team, especially like the product, the designers, whatever it may be? How do you foster this like creative environment?
Um, I think when you come with like open questions,
Okay. Yeah.
if you bring like what would happen if we whatever, if we look at it that way, what would
Right.
happen if we had no constraints? Um, what can we achieve within 2 weeks? Something, or
I
or you either
see.
challenge or you really broaden the discussion, and then kind of try to capture. There's also all sorts of methodologies like kind of using cards or using imagination or kind of content switching. What happened if we take a product and we try to break it, right? Rather than make it great, let's destroy it. What will
Yeah.
destroy our product? Maybe that will create us a list of red flags, what we should be aware of. So there are many ways to kind of steer the conversation and create a very, very creative mindset in the room. It's just, for example, I think it's just neglecting the default. So if we neglect the default way for even 20 minutes in the beginning of the conversation, something will happen.
Yeah.
And of course, if this will lead to a successful product, this will become part of the methodology, and people will embrace it in kind of the creative way of thinking.
Yeah, I love that. All the questions I really like, and it reminds me very closely to a class I took at Stanford where taught by Tina Seelig, and it was all about creativity. And it was similar to what you said, like thinking of the worst possible case, or, what if you can do it in a week? How would you do it? So I think that's excellent. So now I want to go to Selina. First, tell me about it. What is Selina? Why is it special? And what brought you to Selina? Why did you say, yes, this is my next move?
Hmm. So Selina is a lifestyle brand. We are in the world of hospitality, but we are perceived as a hotel, but we don't think about ourselves as a hotel. We think about ourselves as a platform for the digital nomads, for the new people who travel and leave the world and trying to find and connect and to one another in a meaningful way. We have more than 100 locations in more than 20 countries, over 5 regions. We are growing rapidly. Our locations are built around private areas, which are mainly the rooms, although we do have also shared rooms, but lots of public areas where you can spend time and experience something very, very authentic. Each one of the Selina is very, very carefully designed depending on the environment, on the culture in which we're in. So we have co-working spaces. We have Selina Home, where it's like a living room with a library. We have a cinema room. We always have wellness
Wow.
spaces. If there's an opportunity to surf, there will be surfing. There will be tours. There will be wellness classes, programming. You can go to the market to buy ingredients and cook with the local chef the dinner, and then spend the evening eating this dinner together with music. We have shared kitchen, so
Oh
lots
my
of
goodness.
shared spaces and opportunities to meet other people from all around the world. We also have a community of people who spend more times with us. We call them co-livers. So they are the ones that almost kind of live within Selina, moving from one location to the other. Those are like the true digital nomads. Other people come for a workation where you can spend the work days working and the evenings and the weekends traveling or enjoying what Selina has to offer. And we do have people who come for just the short stay, just to kind of taste, and will come back to another place or spend a few weeks with us traveling one or two or few countries. So we are growing rapidly all around the world. We have more than 2 million guests staying with us this year. It's a crazy company with lots of super creative people. We are also very minded of the environment, of the neighborhoods in which we're in. We try to be very social minded, environmental minded. It's very important to us. The design of the locations is outstanding. So again, everything is very local and crafted. We recycle, we upcycle. It's a very unique company.
Yeah.
And when I heard of Selina, and then when I saw some of the locations that Selina built, there was no Selina in Israel at the time.
Okay.
And when I heard about the vision of Selina, which is again to connect people, Selina is trying to solve. If there's a problem that we're trying to solve, it's the problem of loneliness.
Okay.
It was very obvious to me that this is a company I really want to work in. And at the time there was no position, and when there was position, it was almost filled by someone else. And there was a full week of interviews. By the end of the week, it was obvious to me that this is where I want to work, and this is the team I want to be a part of. And it's been 3.5 weeks with this crazy ride.
Wow.
It's been very challenging because we did experience COVID.
Yes.
Like everybody else, which hit the hospitality industry really hard. But even then, it made our vision even stronger, and things that we thought would only happen in 2026. So we had co-working spaces before COVID, and we thought about remote working, but we thought it would happen in 4 years from now. And then came Corona, and everything was expedited, and part of our vision is kind of coming to life right now through COVID.
Yeah.
But at real time, it wasn't easy.
So take me through that. Take me through your most maybe stressful week or month or quarter, whatever it may be, of where, COVID is very much at its highest level. And you guys, you had a roadmap planned and you had to kind of throw it away and do something else. What did that look like? How did you get through it?
So it was very intensive management meetings. So we had to kind of work to get everybody is in their home. All of a sudden, we learned to use Zoom. It was very quickly obvious that there are some advantages to this. So it's because the company had 4 headquarters. People who were outside the headquarters, they were always on Zoom, but the majority of the meeting was in the room. So it kind of democratized the conversation, because everybody is now on screen, and you have to learn how to listen to each other and how to navigate this kind of Zoom universe. We had daily meetings where we reviewed the numbers. And we took very rapid decisions. The company, there's always the operational side, which are the locations and the operation leadership, and the product team is part of the global side of Selina. So operation, unfortunately, had to shut down a lot of the locations as the first wave kind of started. And on the product side, we had to do everything that we can to kind of save the business that was still there. So if we talk about hospitality, for example, everything that has to do around cancellation policies changed dramatically with COVID, and it's not going to go back. So people are expecting flexibility like never before. So we had to do things to kind of to be flexible. We had to make sure that when when we could open the locations, that we are mindful of COVID regulation. That's a whole new level of regulation that wasn't part of our life, and it is now.
Yeah.
We started also. We had music festivals. We had programming. Everything was done in location. We moved it initially to be online, so people can continue to enjoy and be connected to our content on our online platform. So there were a lot
Yeah.
of daily changes, but also we took this opportunity to invest in our infrastructure, because there was some quiet time to also do things that we don't normally attend to do.
Oh, interesting.
So
So
we try to make the best of it.
So I know, obviously, as a VP of product, you are overlooking, especially with Selina, it's a very interesting company in that you have different groups. You have, the actual product and what people are using, and then you also have like the community aspect. And because I know you guys value that so much. How does that look like as a product leader when you're managing kind of all of these groups? How does it look like?
So the product is the Selinas, is the
Okay.
actual Selinas, the 100+ locations that we have. This is the product. We call it physical product because it has physical presence
Right.
inside the location. Beside the physical side of the product, I also have the digital side of the product. The digital side of the product, it has few phases in the journey. First one is to make sure that you're aware of Selina. The second one is to make sure that you book Selina. And the third one is to make sure that once you're in Selina, you maximize your experience. So we kind of ease everything for you. It's like a digital concierge. You connect
Yeah.
to other people, you get all the information you want, but we never want you to spend even one more minute on our app than you have to when you're in location.
Oh,
We want you
interesting.
to open it, to see what's around you, to schedule your day, to book everything, to order your food, to open your door, to connect to other people, put it back in your pocket, or even better, leave it in your room and just enjoy your
Wow.
experience in Selina. And besides those two groups, we also have a group that is taking care of Selina employee and the task that we need to do to make sure that
Right.
everybody needs to enjoy. So there's a lot of management software and it's more like a B2B, but we're the business of ourselves. So mainly three groups, the B2B group, the B2C group, and the physical group, but everybody is focusing on delivering the right experience to our guests and visitors. Visitors, we refer to people who enjoy Selina but don't sleep with us. So these are the local communities around the Selina. So they might
Wow.
be guests in one Selina, but a visitor in the Selina next to them.
Wow. And you became VP of product, not only, a different role of leadership, but now a different industry, hospitality. How was this transition for you? Where did you ever have, imposter syndrome thinking, okay, this is maybe too much, or how did you experience it?
I think we always have
Yeah,
imposter syndrome, and
I think so
I
too.
think it's good. It keeps us modest, it keeps us real, it keeps
Right.
us human, and it also keeps us very mindful for other people joining our business. Um, it's a tricky one because we are in hospitality, but we're not traditional hospitality. So we
Right.
kind of we're the one disrupting the industry that we are part of. So in that sense, we're not obliged to play by the rules. We
Yeah.
can build our own rules. Sorry.
Yeah.
There are cases when we have to work by the industry standards. So we do that. So there was a learning curve, and there were plenty of people who could teach me. But overall, I think we're in the business. We're in a very creative company. So as long as it fits the vision and as long as it's focused on our targets, we can create whatever we want. So in that
Yeah.
sense, it's very, very privileged to be a part of the industry, but also disruptive.
Okay, so Roni, first of all, this has been amazing and I've learned so much. But now I'm curious, Selena's aside, product aside, what do you like to do outside of work? What is a hobby of yours?
So I'm I'm a very creative person. So I'm very much into crafts.
Ooh,
I actually started as a kid doing everything with my hands. So if it's sewing and knitting and cross stitching, and even jewelry making, like proper silversmithing, anything that has to do with craft and real material. I'm very, very much into. I also really like to cook.
Wow.
I like to invent my own stuff. I'm horrible at baking because baking you have to be very precise and you have to follow the recipe. And I'm not that great with following recipe. I always have something that I have to change and it doesn't work. So I kind of gave up on baking. Someone else can bake. I can do the rest.
It's okay. It seems like
Um,
you do a lot, which is great. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Okay. So first, I want to say thank you again for coming on the show. It's really been incredible. Like I said, like you're not only VP of product, but at Selena's, which is such an incredible company. And like you said, it's an incredible mission, especially, what we need now, this like positive energy, bringing people together. So I love it. So really, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me. And I believe, yeah, and I'm super, super proud to be the VP of Selena and to be part of this mission to build this kind of ecosystem and brand. And you are more than welcome to any of our locations. We have beautiful locations in Israel and all around the world, and there's plenty more to come. So please do
Amazing.
enjoy it.
Yes,
Thank you so
definitely.
much.
Thank you.